Hi everyone. Our subject today is about wealth inequality. You know, a clear, sound sign of unsocial justice worldwide is that our world's deepest pocket or ultra high net worth individuals hold an astoundingly disproportionate share of global wealth. Yes, inequality has been on the rise across the globe for several decades. Some countries have reduced the number of people living in extreme poverty, but economic gaps have continued to grow as the very richest amass unprecedented levels of wealth. Among industrial nations, the USA is by far the most top heavy, with much greater shares of national wealth and income going to the richest 1% than any other country. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic impact, which definitely affected the whole world, the world's 10 richest billionaires, according to statistics, own an astonishing $1,144 trillion dollars. If you don't know what trillion is like 9 zeros in combined wealth altogether. The 10 richest billionaires in the world, all of them amass or have 1,144 trillion. 1,000 trillion. The trillion is one with 9 zeros. So the 1,000 is 12 zeros, like 12 zeros combined. That is a sum greater than the total goods and services most nations produce on annual basis, according to the World Bank, which means this amount of money that those 10 richest have is equal or surpasses maybe what almost all the nations have or produce in one year as goods and services, which means production, total product. Those with extreme wealth have often accumulated their fortunes on the backs of people around the world who work for poor wages and under dangerous conditions. Other statistics show that the top 1% in the USA holds 42.5% of national wealth. Almost half the richness of the United States is held by 1% of the people, of the US citizens, that is. In no other industrial nation does the richest 1% own more than 28% of their country's wealth, which means average all over the world in other nations is 28%, while it's 42.5% in the USA. It means some game of Monopoly, if you want, easy to understand. Now, this, according to Credit Suisse annual report in 2020, covering the wealth of roughly 5.2 billion adults, which means out of the 8 billion people in the world, there are children, there are women that do not work, there are unemployed, and so on. 5.2 billion adults across 200 countries, that is almost the whole world, within which elite fraction of 175,000 ultra wealthy people. So out of those 5.2 billion human beings, 175,000 person do make 0.1% of the world's population. So this 0.1% of the world population own 25% of the world's wealth, quarter of the world's wealth, 0.1%. They make 175,000 person out of over 5 billion person. I mean, it's mind-boggling. From these facts and statistics, we go to the other real life on the state of non-wealthy and poor to conclude on how, why, and what to be done. Now, the gap is growing every year. More than half the population of the so-called free Western world have almost nothing. Even those Western countries, free world countries or whatever, the capitalist, if you want in other terms, almost half of their population, they have nothing, which means they live on day by day or whatever they gain, makes the living with. And no less than the 2/3 of other countries, which means what they call the third world and the developed country and so on, okay? 2/3 of that world, okay, have even less than what the Western free world people do have, even less and even much less, while a small fraction have almost all the capital. That explains why, when the majority of people have nothing, that explains that a small fraction of those people do have everything, or all the capital, all the wealth. A society that allows a few to capture most of the wealth is neither fair nor efficient. No one can claim that the industrial world economy is performing better now than it did when the wealthy 1%, okay, only had half as much, which means if we go back like a decade in time, the same 1% today, they used to have almost half what they have now. And no indication whatsoever that now, okay, the economy is better than what it was a decade ago. It's obvious and it's known and documented, and we lived it, we hear it, we see it now and as we saw it then. So it might be different if the rich really were letting their wealth trickle down by investing in the future economy. But instead, they pile up their fortune because it's more than they know what to do with. Their fortune is so enormous and huge that they don't know what to do with it. That's why they cannot invest in the future properly, at least. Most of this money comes directly or indirectly from struggles and fightings everywhere, eliminating part of the world's population to reduce the outcome of poverty problems through selling special manufactured arms and ammunition and obstructing the third world economic growth, particularly in the Middle East, creating injustices with millions of hopeless and helpless refugees and hungry children dying, if not from killings or exchanging, if not from killing, exchanging, and bombardment, It'll be from diseases and sicknesses caused by hunger and displacement, planned and organized and executed by the rich countries, calling themselves the free world, the democratic societies, the human rights advocates. So ridiculously, billions are watching today. I mean, the whole world is watching and seeing. Nobody sees any of such pretentious good intentions of the powerful. What is the pretentious good intentions of the powerful? That they are helping the poor country, they are trying to introduce values and like investing even in other countries to help and so on, blah, 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 blah. On the contrary, they are fueling the divisions that exist, which is normal amongst humans, fueling those divisions, and this is how they become richer and richer and richer. So it's a shame, a big shame, because they are failing all their principles and values for few dollars more. Few dollars to them, but in their greedy eyes, they are more than few. Thank you.